Hi guys, so I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about changing your fonts in the Squarespace platform. I have had a couple of questions about changing font styles, colors, etc. So I thought, why not just put it out there for everyone to see? So I am going to go ahead and share my screen with you, and we are going to take a peek at the back end of my website. So to change your fonts, you have to understand that there are typically 4 fonts within the Squarespace platform that you'll be using. So we have a normal font, we have our H3 heading, heading 3, our heading 2, and our heading 1. So typically your heading 1 is going to be kind of the highest priority. It's going to be for your big, bold headlines. It's also going to be the one that your search engine optimization, like that's the one that Google is going to put the most weight on when they're looking at keywords and search engine optimization. So you'll want to make sure that you're utilizing keywords as much as possible in those H1 headings. Obviously H2 would be the second, and then H3, you get it. Those are the headings 1, heading 2, and heading 3. So we kind of have 4 fonts to play with. I kind of believe that you can, you'll figure out how you want to pair your fonts. I like to keep mine pretty much similar. My fonts are a little more rounded, a little bit more bold, a little easier to read. Probably the teacher in me likes for them to be a little bit more, I guess, legible. But absolutely kind of try to pick to your own branding and see what's going to work for you. So in your Squarespace platform, if you skip to design, first of all, make sure that you're on a page that has font that you want to look at and review and possibly change. So my home page has a ton of font. It pretty much has all of my selections of fonts here on this home page. So I can simply go to the design tab on the left-hand side, go to site styles, and if you scroll through, you'll be in kind of the main area. It's showing all of the options within design. If you scroll through, you are bound to come across some fonts, pretty much. So as you're looking through, look for the word font and you will find, so for instance, this is header, primary navigation. I see font here. Another way that you can do it is once design is open, it's basically opening up an editing format for design on my entire site. So as you can see, every time I'm moving my cursor, it's highlighting something in blue. Basically, that is saying, okay, this is the area that we're going to work on. So if you watch, when I click down here to my main entrance heading, I guess, you'll notice that things change over on this side. So I've got, right now I'm showing everything design-wise. If I click over here, it now changes this left-hand panel to my heading 1, because that is what this font basically is. If I click on my heading 1, I can see that right now I'm using Dunbar Tall. I can click in here, I can search for a specific font, or I can browse literally thousands of fonts. Squarespace has this, they have just amazing partnerships. So right now with Adobe Typekit, with Google Fonts, I mean, if you can't find your font, you'll find something very, very similar. You can also, I'm sorry, one moment. Skittle needs to be involved. So you can obviously I'm sure that you can find something in here that is very, very similar to your branding. Most people are not going to be able to notice that there's a slight difference in your font. However, if you have something very unique, my JM, for instance, is a very, very unique font. I need to be able to use that in certain places. If I don't find it here, I could upload that. And that's a whole different segment. If you need that to happen, you can definitely shoot me an email at jen@iambyjm, and I'll be happy to help you out. But for most people, you should be able to find a font that you want to stick with, even kind of create your own branding with a font if you don't already have one, because literally Squarespace has just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds to choose from. So if I wanted to change my H1 heading, I would just simply come in here, find one that I think I want to try, and click it, and it will immediately change it here on my website, and then I simply click Save. I do not want to do that, so I am just going to simply do the undo arrow here and set it back to its normal font, which is my Dunbar. There we go. But you'll also notice that in my fonts, I also have the ability over here to change the weight, which is basically kind of making it bold or not so bold. Not all of the fonts have as many options. Not all of the templates has as many options. So you're just going to have to kind of play around and see with what your font and your template allow. Obviously this is 100, it's very, very light. If I go up to 900, it's going to be super bold. So I'm not even sure where I was. I'm just going to undo, get myself back. There we go. Also within your fonts, you have the ability to change your size, just a sliding scroll bar, super easy. Spacing with your letters, if you wanted there to be more spacing, you just, again, sliding bar here. I'm going to undo to make sure it's exactly back where it's supposed to be. Line height is basically, so when you're actually entering in your paragraph format, so if you're just typing and it naturally enters like a normal paragraph you're typing, that is your line height here. If you wanted to, there's kind of two different ways when you're typing. You have your line height, which would mean that if you keep your paragraph consistent. So let's say that I'm on Authorized Trainer and I want this "and" to be to the next level. I could just hit Shift and Enter and it's going to keep the same line height that's here. If I am doing a strict enter, so I'm on Marketing Enthusiast, I hit the period, I hit Enter, and now it's going to be a paragraph break. So it's going to start a whole new spacing. So that's the difference between the spacing there. If you're writing in a paragraph but you just want to kind of make sure that you keep the words on different levels, make sure you hit Shift and Enter, and that will keep this line height spacing for you. Rather than creating a whole new break. So that's kind of the basics of changing your fonts, the font styles, the weights of your font, colors. Now that's a whole different thing. So your template came with the fonts and the colors that it believes fit that specific business, or the kind of that template. You have the ability to customize all of that. So I highly encourage people to think about maybe certain areas where you can change your font, maybe the color, you can add a little bit of splash somewhere. The way that you do that is you can, let me go back to show all, kind of scroll through, find the different fonts. If there's any font that you know that you specifically want to be a little bit of a different color, you want to have kind of a little bit more purpose, and like I said, that splash to get more attention, you can find it here. So let me click on this one again. I'm in my heading 1 colors. It's black right now. I can use this bar here to change it to anything that I want it to be. And if I find a color that goes pretty well with my needs, this is what my husband likes to call the color recipe. So basically it's a way of kind of letting the computer know exactly what color you're looking at, because even going off just a tiny little bit can completely mess up the brand. So if you, for instance, love this color and I want to continue this color throughout my site, I can just simply copy this and then I can show all. And maybe I want to bring this color into other areas of my website. So maybe I have it on my H1 now and I think it goes great and I want to add it to different places. I can scroll down and maybe find my, let's scroll down a little bit this way. So maybe I want to make my buttons that color. So I'm still in design. I can click on these buttons. I can go to button color. I can now erase what I have, and I can, erase what I have and paste that new color directly in there. So it's a really super easy way to kind of get some continuity throughout your website, but maybe not have it be the exact colors that were originally in the template. If you already have brand colors and you know that color recipe and those are your Pantone colors, then you can absolutely just put the your Pantone color numbers in here. If not, you can use Photoshop to find out what those exact that exact recipe, Pantone recipe, would be. So here in Photoshop, if I click the eyedropper tool, I can click on Reach by Abby Anderson's logo, and you see that it kind of pops up over here. Back over here in the corner, it's actually going to show me exactly what color that is. And now here I have everything I need, all of the numbers. I have the number that I can usually copy and paste over. With Squarespace, it's a little bit different because they are going to want us to come up with the HSL number. So Back in Photoshop, I have all of that information here ready for me. All I have to do is just come back into Squarespace and replace these numbers with the new numbers. Pretty simple. So I'm going to cancel because although that is kind of a fun color, it's just not my brand color. So that is kind of the basics of changing your font and your font colors, the font styles. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me at jen@iambyjm.com. And as always, if you have another question about anything else with your Squarespace website, please just let me know either here on YouTube or shoot me an email, and I'm happy to make another quick video and help you guys out. Thanks a bunch and have a great day.